Go. Good morning, Jason.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday to you
It
and
is
you
another
and you.
Friday. Good
It
morning,
is.
everybody.
There is a
I don't know
lot
about
out
you,
there.
but I'm excited that it's Friday. And my Friday started really early. I actually was working at 3 o'clock this morning because I was in a
Whoa.
session with people from Europe, and it's just so inspirational to learn about all the different things that they're doing and the programs that they have launched and the stage that they're at with car sharing and
Yeah.
mobility. Shared mobility is what it's
Oh,
called.
mm.
And I just love being able to imagine all of those things. So
You think you can get us to
that's how my day
Amsterdam any
started.
quicker?
What's that?
You can get us to Amsterdam a little quicker. You got connections now over there in the European Union.
I
Let's do
do.
it.
And in
Let's do
Norway
it.
and in Germany.
Oh,
And
oh,
gosh,
yes.
the programs that they talk about,
Mm,
it's so inspiring. And I really would love to see them in person to see how they work and be able to talk to the people that got them started or are working on the stages that they're at. But
well,
anyway,
hey,
how's
hey,
your day today?
it's going really good. Like you had mentioned earlier, you and I were talking offline. The sun's peeking out a little bit,
Hmm.
which is kind of nice. We just had a rough week and everything of lots and lots and lots of rain. I tried to ride my bike
And
one
then some
day,
more rain.
and yes, exactly. I went outside. I got on my bicycle with I thought, hey, I think I can beat the rain, and
Ah,
I rode halfway down, my extended road, and next thing I know, it just poured down, wind kicked up and stuff, and I
yep.
I just turned around and I said, not for 12
Not
miles
today.
of this.
Yeah. Not today.
But I'll tell you what, Kathy, there's something that's going on today that I'm a little nervous about. If it seems like I'm a little nervous or whatever, my little baby girl is going to her first school dance today,
Oh,
and or tonight. Yes.
congratulations, Dad.
Yeah, congratulations. I don't know,
Uh-huh.
but she,
I
you
don't
know
know if
what?
you're gonna have any fingernails left or, I don't know what you do when you're worried or stressed, but I can imagine this is a big one. This
She
is a big
took
one.
the she took the biggest risk that a teenager can take during their school career and asked her dad how to dance last night.
Oh my
Ugh!
gosh.
I know my mind was blown.
Jason, I
I
don't
didn't know
know
what
if
to
she
do.
wants other people to know that.
She probably doesn't at all, and that's the reason why I have not said her name. But I do hope for sure that that she will not, you know, be watching this show this morning while she's in class and share it around with her classmates or anything like that. But we did watch a really good video on how to do the walking man, whatever that is. I don't know. It
Hmm.
looks silly, but you can watch the robots from Boston Dynamics and learn a whole lot about the twist. So that's what we did.
Hmm.
But other than that,
Awesome.
weather's great, and I'm excited to talk about what we're talking about today, Kathy.
I can't believe you brought in the Boston Dynamics robots in to the conversation of
I
teaching your
did.
daughter any sort of dance moves. I
Hey,
think
they
that
dance
that's
good.
they do. They
They're
do.
some of the
That is
best dancers out there.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, she
All
asked me
right.
if
Well,
yeah,
I know,
it's time to
our
go.
show isn't about these things, but we want people to know that this is, we're people too. We've
Yes,
got
we are.
things going on,
Yep.
and we use the system and we have questions. And today we thought we'd talk about paratransit because frankly, I think that we can all myself, can
Yeah.
stand to learn some new stuff about it, some more about it, because there's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into it. So you are more the expert on this. And I'm hoping that we can provide some wisdom and knowledge, some
Right.
information to those people out there that are watching this. And
And so I think what I'll do first, Kathy, is mention that there's a whole team here dedicated, just not available right now. But they're here. They're working on getting people to where they need to go for ADA. It's called ADA, complementary paratransit transportation,
that's the
and
long name.
it's a long name. Yeah, we just call it paratransit. And
Hmm.
there's a team working and dedicated to doing what we're going to describe here in a little bit. But if you have any questions, I'm just going to throw the phone number out right now to call. Excuse me. It's 503-861-7433. That's 7433. And you'll want to press option two. So at any point in time, if that was all you needed, to call in and to get more information, more detailed information on paratransit, or to figure out to schedule a ride or whatever, do that now. You can go ahead, okay? But anyhow, there's that number.
And if you missed it, or
Yeah,
if you want it later, it'll be in the comments. So you can
excellent.
find it in the comments.
But Kathy, there's a segment of folks that live in our county that are outside of the reach, or their reach, to be more precise, of our fixed route bus transportation. And those fixed route buses, if you don't know what they are, they're those big buses you see rolling around that do specific and detailed routes, like the 101 that travels between Seaside all the way up to Astoria. You have ones like in Cannon Beach, you have ones in Astoria, like the Route 10. Well, in every neck of our woods, there's a group of people, a certain percentage of people who can't make it to those bus stops. And that can be for a variety of reasons, but usually the chief among them are that they are either have a disability that prevents them from walking great distances, or from balancing even. There are people who have balancing issues, so they can't get there, or older adults even who are losing a little bit of their mobility, who might not be able to make it to our bus stop. So there's that segment of people that are out there, Kathy, who just say, if I can't get on the fixed route bus service any longer, maybe I was able to do that, 2 years ago, but I can't anymore
Or even
because of,
6 months ago. I mean, it
or
doesn't,
even 6 months ago. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I need help. So they call us. They call the number that I put down there, and they contact the paratransit office, and they start on the process of how to become eligible. And so that's what they do.
How do they do that? So is
Right.
it just they talk to somebody on the phone and that person decides, oh, I think I like the way that person sounds, and okay, we'll do this.
Oh man, wouldn't it be awesome if it was maybe totally like that? But unfortunately, because of our funding source, and it's through the Federal Transit Association, those there are processes and policies that they have to go through. We would rather people use fixed route bus service if possible. Paratransit is not here as just another service. It's here to catch all the people who can't ride the fixed route service. So it's an application-based service. So if you want to get on paratransit, you need to call in and request a paratransit application, or you can go online at Northwest what's our website?
Northwest Transit something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just lost it too.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah. So you can go to our website, which is being pulled, northwestoregiontransit.org. That's nworegiontransit.org, and you can download an application and sign or fill it out there. Once we receive it, yes.
Or, if you're like us and you can't remember that, type
yes.
in ridethebus.org.
There you go.
And
yes.
that will also take you to the website. So
absolutely.
That's how I remember it all the time. That's why I don't remember that other one. So ridethebus.org.
Yep. And there is a really nice button on our landing homepage that says Ride Assist Paratransit. Okay, so that's ADA complimentary paratransit. We call it Ride Assist Paratransit. So if you just click on that button on our landing page, it'll take you into options to learn more about the program or how to get an application. Once you fill out that application, Kathy, then you can go ahead and either send that in to us, we'll receive it. And here's the thing. We've received it, and we've got to go over the application and determine whether or not you're eligible. But until that happens, once we receive that application, we will provide you services up until the point of, there's a possibility maybe you won't be able to get on the service. But until we've come to that decision, in the rare instance that we do, you still receive services. You'll receive services, complimentary services. Yeah, it's nice.
So the default is that people qualify. And
until they're not. Yep.
Until then the application goes through, and then you if it's for some reason determined that you don't qualify, then you would no longer be able to use the paratransit service. And so while we're talking about the application, if I were to have surgery of some sort that was limiting my mobility, I was on crutches, or my eyes were worked on, or, for something that I was no longer able to
Sure.
either be mobile myself to get to my bus normally or to drive myself. Is that something that people can do, or is it only permanent, or, from then on permanent disability
That's
mobility?
a Yeah, and that's a great question, Kathy. And the answer is absolutely. If you've gone through a surgery or any medical procedure that has either, you have to rehab from, well, of
Hmm.
course, there's going to be quite a few individuals who can't make it to the fixed route bus system. They were able to do it just last week, but now they've had a surgery and now they don't have that mobility. However, though, maybe they have just enough mobility to be able to get outside and walk up to the curb. And that's another thing. This service, the ADA paratransit service, is a curb to curb service. Okay. So we'll
Okay.
come to the curb of your home. We don't go inside the home. We don't assist people other than opening the door for them or using the ADA lift, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But however, yes, if you've had a temporary reduction in your mobility and need services, you can do that. We have a category called temporary or temporary conditional approval, and we will
Hmm.
do that, and we'll work with you and your healthcare provider to determine the length. But usually they range between 3 months, maybe 4 months, and then at the end of that time, we'll do a reassessment
Hmm.
of that application to determine whether or not you're still needing ADA paratransit on a temporary basis. And we hope that you would recover enough to be able to one day say, okay, well, you no longer use or are eligible for paratransit now. Have fun, get back on the bus, enjoy, get out there, connect with your community, and do all the things that you can do. Paratransit is great, but it only gets you from point A to point B, and that's it.
Right.
Our bus, remember, you can hop on the bus and you can get off anywhere you want to,
Hmm.
and explore the community just a little bit more than you can with paratransit. But,
Right.
so, yeah. So, yeah, if you have surgery, go ahead, give us a call. We'll work with you. So,
So if I'm having mobility challenges or
mhm.
temporary reduction in mobility, is paratransit my only option, or are there other things?
Well, ADA paratransit, the service that we offer, that's the bulk of what this department does and so forth, and they do a great job. But they also provide other levels of service. So, we they will provide services to our veterans as an overflow provider. I run the program for the Veterans Enhanced Transportation Program. I love it. We have great veterans, people who need our help, need our transportation assistance, but we don't have enough drivers. I pause at that because it's my little plug here,
So
Kathy.
drivers, when you say drivers, are you talking
Yes,
about bus drivers? Are you
volunteer.
talking
No,
about, oh,
for
okay.
this, but no, for this particular program, for the veterans program, and this is kind of a side plug here. We have a veterans program that helps our local veterans get to local medical appointments. Problem is we only have one veteran volunteer driver. We need more. So if there's anybody out there who's looking to give back a little bit to their community, we do
Hmm.
reimburse you for your mileage you drive in your vehicle. We're looking for drivers. If you're a veteran, call in and you want to help out, we'll put you to work. But when we have an overflow, when our one driver can't handle the amount of work that we've got in, well, paratransit will help fill that void for us. They will also do some amazing things. These new programs that we really, well, in the last 2 years, we've out of necessity. Um, one of them being the food box delivery.
Oh, and
Mm,
that I think is one of
hmm.
the best things to come out of all of the pandemic things that
Yes.
we've gone through, is that we've discovered
Yep.
that we can provide this service that just enhances people's life so
Absolutely.
much, because for people that don't have transportation or that have mobility
Hmm.
challenges, um, getting food and
Yeah.
being able to have that source of nutrition and sustenance
Yeah.
has been such a concern and a worry, because how do I get to the food bank? And then how do
Right.
I carry with mobility challenges? Those are big boxes that they give them of
Sure.
food. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
so I cut you off, but please
No,
tell me
good.
more about the food boxes.
Well, I think you did a great job in explaining it, but quite frankly, it's a simple call to the same phone number that's going to be listed below.
Hmm.
And again, that call center that is an ADA paratransit call center will also field the calls for people requiring assistance with food boxes. And it's a conversation really just between you and that department, and you can move forward in whatever you need, whatever particular day that you need. And I believe it's just one day a week that they'll deliver the food box to you. And I think you're right, based on the size and the amount of food that they put in the box. A lot of the people that we do deliver boxes to, really it takes them 2 weeks to go through, one of those boxes. So
And so just to talk about that a little bit more. So is the food box delivery only for people that live in Warrenton or Astoria?
no, it's within the scope of our ADA paratransit, or more likely our dial ride services. That's another service that's offered. Dial a ride.
Hmm.
It's a service you call in. There's no application. It costs a little more money to do that. Again, you call the same phone number, and they'll help you understand what the cost is associated to pick you up. But it'll run, you to where you need to go and so forth. So within the scope of that balance, so just basically within Clatsop County, within our service district area, is where those food boxes can be delivered and so forth. So
Excellent.
usually what ends up happening is ends up, of course, being the individuals who are on the outskirts, really far
Hmm.
from the Clatsop County Food Bank and so forth. So um, there's a really good opportunity for us to be able to carry those. Sometimes we'll get quite a few boxes, and we're able to schedule them in like a
Hmm.
kind of a back-to-back drop-off.
Hmm.
So it's not like we
Hmm.
have to go bouncing back and forth from South
Right.
to North County. So it's
Hmm.
really nice. But another really cool thing. So you talked about dial-a-ride. Please call in for that. That's
Hmm.
different than ADA paratransit. Again, like I said, it's not an application process. It will cost more money, because what I've neglected to mention with ADA paratransit is if you are accepted as an applicant and you are signed up for ADA paratransit services, the cost is only up to 2 times more than the fixed route cost. So
And our fixed route is only $1.
it's only $1. So
So $2, if
yep,
we're doubling it, is
yep.
not a huge amount of money.
No, it's not. And so again, with further conversation with that department over there, they can help you kind of go through that. And so dial-a-ride is more costly for that,
Hmm.
on average, anywhere between $30 to $40, maybe perhaps, for cross-county rides and so forth.
Hmm.
Um, but another important thing is it might have kind of died down a little bit as far as the vaccination clinics. I know they're still popping up from time to time,
Hmm.
but we also, through that department, will also schedule, if you call in and there's a clinic and you need to go get your vaccination shot or a booster shot, you give us a call and we will work out the details to help you get to that clinic. So we do
Well,
have those means and opportunities to do that.
and on that note, it's not necessarily just for a clinic, but if you're going
Right.
to a pharmacy someplace to get a
Good
shot,
point. Yep.
it's all of those things. And so they're not necessarily events that you need to
Right.
sign up for, that you need, that will schedule a ride for, or that paratransit will schedule a ride for. It's any place that you're
Yep.
going to get a vaccine or a booster.
Right.
If you have that appointment scheduled, even if you're riding the bus, if you can ride the bus, and you're worried about whether you have the dollar or not, you just tell the driver that
Hmm.
you're going to go to get a vaccine, and
Right.
then they will write you down as that kind of a ride.
So it's a really cool program, and I'm really
Hmm.
glad, that yes, federal dollars demand that we have the service and so forth, but we've been able to leverage that service into other programs and able to, hi, um, I'm sorry, I saw a wonderful picture here up on the wall and I just said hi. Anyhow, one thing I did want to mention, to kind of get into the details of paratransit is really cool. A lot of individuals who do ride require more assistance than what our drivers can have. If you recall, I said earlier that our drivers
That it's
will
curb to
get,
curb.
it's curb to
Right.
curb, and they'll open the door for you, use the lift and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
but they're not to be there to help you. If you need someone to help you and crutch up to you or something,
Hmm.
can't do that. You need
That's a
someone to
different kind of a
push.
ride.
That's a different kind of ride, yeah. Or if you need somebody to push your wheelchair down your driveway we don't do that. So if you require what we call a personal care attendant, okay, that's the
Mm-hmm.
professional term, but really if you
Mm-hmm.
just want somebody to help and assist you in traveling, there's no fare. So you don't have to
For that
pay for that
person.
individual, for that
Mm-hmm.
person. If for you, you do have to pay the fare for that. But your personal care attendant, that individual that's going to assist you to do those things that the driver can't, or yeah, they're not allowed to, um, yeah, they can come on board and do that. They
Mm-hmm.
must travel though. This is a key thing. You have to remember they have to travel with you your full duration. They can't
Mm-hmm.
get off halfway through and pick them up on the way home. No, they
Right.
need to travel to and from the same location that you do. And then of course, just like with our fixture out services, service animals and other mobility aids, such as cane, walkers, and
Mm-hmm.
of course your wheelchairs, those are
All
accommodated as well.
wheelchairs?
All wheelchairs, even the big and rough and tumble electric wheelchairs, yes, we will get them
Awesome.
on our lift and we will put them in the vehicle.
And
Yes, awesome.
and all of our vehicles have um the ability to take all wheelchairs?
Yeah, yep, yes.
Awesome.
So if one thing I will say, and I know this isn't talked about a whole lot because it's kind of rare, there are such things as oversized or geriatric or stretcher wheelchairs. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
big ones that recline
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. You'll want to make sure that you describe that to the person you're talking to, ADA paratransit, so we can determine um,
Which
whether or not we'd
vehicle?
be able to take those. Yeah, which vehicle and
Okay.
so forth. So that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just maybe, I mean, it's again very rare that we come across something that we cannot transport, but sometimes those oversized, large, stretcher-like wheelchairs are very difficult and challenging, not necessarily to fit on the bus, but to secure
Right.
to the van. So we have to understand that. So
Because that part is
yes,
also an important piece of the
it is.
puzzle. And so it's not
Absolutely.
and that's not just because we feel like it's because it's a requirement that we need to,
Yeah.
if we're giving somebody a ride as an agency, that we also need to
Yep.
make sure that we're doing it safely. So,
Absolutely.
all part of, if somebody's driving that vehicle, they have to have a CDL license. There's all kinds of training that goes
Yeah.
behind it. That means that they're a safe driver. They've been licensed
Hmm.
and trained to make sure that they are safe on the road with the vehicle and with passengers. And so
Yeah.
along with that goes the regulations for
Hmm.
securing wheelchairs
Yes.
and the person.
And Kathy, I want to go ahead and bring up this as well too, because as a travel trainer for us, I come across a lot of individuals who are a little uncomfortable um, getting on a bus and having to be secured in through their wheelchair, because it is a little more of a close quarters
Mm-hmm.
uh, type of assistance. We have to do in order to secure. We have to put a strap across you. We do ask, are you ready for me to do this? Are you ready for me to secure the wheelchair here, knowing that they're going to have to get relatively close? If you're a little uncomfortable with that, please call us, and specifically me, because we have an actual apparatus here. I wish I could show you, um, but we have an apparatus. It's literally a simulated bus floor,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually have a wheelchair. We take your wheelchair. We can bring your wheelchair in, and we can kind of train on that. It's a lot more open spaces, and so if you want to come over and see what it's like before you actually get on the bus or something, you can come on down here and we can work with you and in person and show you how the securement process
Well, I
works.
mean, and that just kind of harkens back to our last conversation that we had about training and becoming familiar with things, which then
Yes.
reduces your stress level. There's
Yep.
not less things to be triggers and to be causing fear and anxiety. And
That's right.
so
Yep.
that is just one of those ways that we're there for you to, practicing in the moment on the bus as you're getting on the bus can trigger some anxiety for people. And if that is
Yeah.
enough to make you say, no, thank you, I'm not ever going to do that, well, then we have some initial steps that you could take to
Yes.
help you be able to be more mobile and active and be able to go through the process of being secured in your mobility device on the bus?
Yeah, I came across an
Mhm.
individual in my second year of doing this job, and they were in an electric wheelchair. It was a rather large four-wheel electric wheelchair. And for those of you who don't know, those electric wheelchairs are very heavy duty. They're designed to carry heavy loads, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the individual is oversized. It just means that they want to. Those wheelchairs are very robust, and they were concerned because they had never ridden on the bus. They were concerned that whether or not we were going to be that the lift would be able to be wide enough, to hoist them up into the van, or whether or
Mhm.
not they would be able to maneuver while they are in the van. And they just simply decided that they didn't want to go anywhere. They didn't. They explained to me that they didn't want to get on the bus and learn how to do it. That they would rather had do what they found out that they could do, which they contacted me and I brought them in. I take that back. I went over to their place first, and then they came over later, and
Mhm.
we did that simulated securement process, and
Mhm.
it took several weeks, but they became very comfortable with the process. And then when they actually went out and did it the first time, I was there on site with them as the bus driver, did everything that they needed to do,
Mhm.
and you know what? It was exactly as they remembered during our training, and they were perfectly fine with it, and then became avid bus riders, and they to this day still ride the
It
bus 2 to 3 times a week.
That is a perfect story about that,
Yeah,
how just practice. And one of the
practice.
reasons that we're here we do these shows, we're here and we're available because sometimes it takes just talking through and
Yep,
sometimes it takes actual practicing it. And so
right.
we have the tools to help you be able to do that, or to be there with you when you're going through it the first time so that you have
Yes.
somebody that you can ask those questions of. And that's that's our I know one of my favorite parts about doing my job
Hmm.
is actually being able to say, hey, that person is riding the bus because I was able to help them get the
Right.
information, get the
Yep.
confidence, feel free, the liberty and freedom to be able to say, I'm going to do this.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I really appreciate the fact that uh, yeah, had that to say, and appreciate the fact that we're sitting here talking about this very important program. And one thing I wanted, we haven't talked about this yet, and I want to get this in here before the end of the show, because as you know, it's kind of going
Time
quickly.
flies.
Time flies. So let's talk about. So you've brought that application in, and whether or not you're approved or you're not approved yet, it doesn't matter for the time until we've made that decision. You can get services. What you have to do in order to get the service is to schedule a trip. Okay, so you need to
So
call.
important.
Yes, you need to call the department. And again, it's 503-861-7433, option number two, and they need to be scheduled at least a day in advance. Okay, we don't have such a large service where we can do same
Yeah.
hour schedule. So at least a day and for big trips and for trips that require multiple stops, you might want to give us 3 to 4 days even, and do that. So please, you know give us that call as early as possible, and know that what's going to happen is when we schedule that ride with you, there's going to be a pickup window that we're going to have. You might think, now this is key to understand because you're using public service transportation now, you might think that it only going to take you 15 minutes to get from one point A to point B on this one vehicle. However, we have other people that we need to transport. So we might pick you up 30 minutes before your appointment is to be scheduled or to be had. And so you'll have to be a little understanding of that. It happens from time to time. So just be aware of that. Okay.
Well,
And yeah,
yeah, because we also suffer from a lot of the same things as everybody else.
yep,
We have staffing issues
sure.
and demand issues. There's always more demand than there is staff, or almost
Absolutely.
always. And because of the way that that program works, we don't, it's not like a taxi service. The drivers aren't just waiting around for the call and then they go to you and
Hmm.
then take you to where you're going. It's a whole schedule of a day where that driver has different rides scheduled. And so just think of when you have
Yeah.
appointments at the doctor or something, sometimes
Yep.
things get delayed and then it just is a domino effect. And so that's
Yes.
why they give you a window of time rather
Yeah.
than a specific time, so that there's a little wiggle room and there's some
Sure.
space for those delays, right?
Absolutely, Kathy. Really, really good point on there. That's the whole reason why we have those cushioned windows for your pickup and drop offs.
Uh-oh.
And hey, there I go again. You know what? I talk with my hands a lot. If you notice,
Uh-huh.
I feel like sometimes I'm having a boxing match with my camera, and every once in a while I hit something and it falls. I got to be better on securing that. However, though, much like the camera dropping and falling and you know, it maybe could have broken the camera, I don't know. If we scheduled that appointment and you have an appointment, another important piece to this is if you feel like you can't go, make sure you call us. It's
Right.
really important. The cost is great when we don't have notification that you are not going to be going, so it's important that you call. It's
Mhm.
important that you call and let us know as soon as you can. Okay? We don't want, we call them no shows, and they are not good. Just like at your doctor's office, if you no show your doctor a couple of times, you know, there's some consequences. There are consequences. Either the doctors will charge you, or the doctors will maybe even drop you as a patient in some cases. You know, we're not going to charge you. However, though, if your no-shows kind of rack up, we're going to try to call you, we're going to talk to you and do all that. But the unfortunate side of this business means that we might have to suspend privileges for 3 months, or something like that. It doesn't happen. I mean, really, really doesn't happen very often.
And it
But we
doesn't
do
need
have,
to happen at all.
it doesn't need to happen. Oh, just pick up the phone, say, hey, I'm not feeling like going in today. We don't ask for a reason. We don't care. We just want to know so we don't travel all the way out to the south end of the county to pick you up. It does waste gas, and it wastes employee time to do that. So please
Well,
make
and
sure
it
you give us a call.
also impacts everybody else's
It
schedule that
does.
is scheduled for
Yes,
that day. And so,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yep.
yep. It's
So
just a
other than
common
that,
courtesy thing. And guess what, Jason? We've done it
yes,
again.
we did it again. And talking about an important, amazing program that though we have to have it by federal laws, it's a great program.
It's one
And
that
it
we
helps
really
so
like.
many people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it helps so many people. So we're grateful that we have ADA complimentary paratransit. And it was a pleasure, Kathy, as always, talking to you about it.
For sure. I look forward to talking some more about this and answering any questions anybody has. You can put them in the
Absolutely.
comments.
Yep.
You can call us, you can email us, you can WhatsApp me. I will answer these questions any way I can or put you in touch with a person that can.
Absolutely. Well, Kathy, it looks like it's going to be a halfway decent weekend sun-wise, maybe a little cool, but might have some sun.
My
And I'll
weeds are
need the
calling me.
sun. Yes, I'll need some sun because with my daughter going to that dance tonight, I'm going to be a nervous wreck all night, and I wouldn't mind to have a really nice day to get a bunch of stuff done out in the
Yep.
yard tomorrow.
I
So,
need some yard work is calling my name.
yeah,
So, yep.
definitely.
All right.
Okay, everybody,
Well,
have a
thank you
great
and good
day.
luck tonight, Jason.
Yes, thank you, Kathy. Everybody, have a great day. Thanks a lot for spending some time with this.